everybody, welcome back to another video. I'm your host Rook, and today I got some news for you. So feel free to pause if you need to read what I got up on the video right now, but this came straight from the World Tanks Modern Armor Discord. Now, essentially what this is, the development team for Modern Armor are all fired. Well, not exactly fired, because they'll be working with the developers from the World Tanks PC version to essentially transfer the game into their hands. So the PC devs will be doing console and PC. So I'm not sure if that means we'll be getting more PC-like stuff, like Tier 11 and actually functional bush mechanics and all the tech trees that they have that we don't. I don't know. I hope so. That would be pretty cool. That would be pretty nice. Have some new stuff that's actually decent. That's not just copy paste. But anyway, essentially, the current developers are only working until the roadmap that they posted not too long ago ends. So once that roadmap ends, it's all in the hands of the PC developers. Now, this could either be really good, or this could be terrible. There's really no in between. Either they do basically the same thing, because I do keep up with the PC version a bit. I don't play it very much, but I do watch like WikiBaby and Max Gaming FPS. And for the second time, there's the tiered loot boxes, which I pray that we don't get. That's one thing that the console devs have at least not done, is had something that pay to win. Wait, actually I take that back, because there was Winterfest with the tiered loot boxes, so I guess we already have that, so wouldn't really be much different. But we've only had it once. This is the second time for PC. Which, just in a nutshell, I really do not support the tiered loot boxes, because that is gambling. Online gambling. It's not marketed as gambling. And there are people who aren't 18 who play this game and who have access to their parents' credit card. And I can imagine that you can see where that goes. But anyway, back on topic. So, current Modern Armor devs are getting fired, being replaced with PC devs, which, like I said, could be good, could be bad, could be really good. But this is huge, because these are the people who are getting fired. These are the people responsible for the Night Stalker. These are the people responsible for 6.0. These are the people responsible for implementing Cold War when nobody, literally nobody, has been asking for it. These are the people who essentially ruin the game. All of you who reminisce about 2015, 2016 World Tanks, yeah, these are the people who changed it. These are the very same people. Now, not to drag on them too much, they do some things right, at least. Because we don't always have the tiered loot boxes, like I said about PC. But at the same time, they're not perfect either. They're not ideal. like I said, Night Stalker and the Senjutsu. Oh boy, that's a mess. That thing is just overpowered. But anyway, this isn't about overpowered tanks. This is about wargaming devs getting fired. But so here we got that. Wargaming developers are fired. PC devs taking over. Lord knows what's gonna happen now. But now on to the title of this video. So you guys have probably watched other people's videos already because they got them out before me. But the Warriors season. Now, I can probably hear a bunch of fucking groans at that because, yeah, it's awful. The same groan you make when you see a Night Stalker on the enemy team and not on yours. Not great. Not great at all. Because this Warrior season is, well, not season, event is just copy paste. And it's basically worthless. Because not only is it not different, but there's no reason for the free-to-play players to be playing the event mode. Because guess what? Just like the anniversary, you gotta pay to play. You have to pay to earn anything. Now, I will give them some credit because the Damascus challenges, that's pretty nice. Because the camos are available for every single tank. It's essentially the same mechanic as the annual year badge, the years of service badge. Which is incredible because these at least look decent. They're not like those Christmas camos we got pushed on us from the Christmas boxes. No, these are actually decent looking camos. They actually look nice. But just like with most other nice looking camos, of course, you have to buy something in order to be able to get it. That being one of the event tanks. Which, honestly, I'm kind of on the fence about. Now, usually, I don't really advocate for buying any of Wargaming's premium tanks like this that are crazy overpriced. However, the Rushi, I forgot how to spell it. Not spell it, pronounce it. The Ruishi or whatever it's called. I have been playing a bit of 7s and 8s. That thing seems pretty good. It seems like similar to the Charioteer, but also has Tier 8 Tehran potential. Not like release date Tehran, overpowered Tehran potential, like current nerf Tehran potential. Well, it's still pretty powerful. even after they nerf the alpha. But essentially, from what I've seen, it's the BZ-72-1, the new heavy tank we got with the rocket boosters, the Tier 10, that I literally never see anyone play, maybe once a month, because it's not great, because there's much better tanks out there. But essentially they took that, whittled down the armor, because the tank destroyer can't have 300 plus millimeters of armor on the turret. That would just be Night Stalker. But anyway, it has the same kind of turret rotation lock similar to the Object 416, which I haven't really shared it that much on this channel, but it was one of my first videos. I love the Object 416. It is a great tank. Utterly incredible. You deck that out with camo, you're basically an Udez with a turret. You've even got the Alpha, you've got the pen, you've got the ammo speed, and you're low profile. And you're fast. Although you don't quite have the same, well, armor layout as the Udez does, or the Stritzongs. But anyway, getting off track here again. This Riichi seems a lot like that, except it's got a longer reload for more damage. Like the Charioteer. Or maybe the J-Panther? J-Panther 2, perhaps? Since that's got higher alpha? I don't know, I've only played the J-Panther out of those. But anyway, like I said, the Damascus challenges seem worth it only if you have previously bought the tanks. If you have already purchased one, or you already have one, that is the only reason to go after this. Which I find incredibly stupid because, I mean, you look at those camos, those are nice camos, like I said. It'll look very nice. But leave it to Wargaming to ruin anything good they come up with a paywall. Classic Wargaming. But anyway, so as far as warriors in general, I've noticed a few things. One, some of the more powerful tier 8s are easily applicable in this mode because the power difference between a tier 8 and a tier 9 is not the same between a tier 9 and a tier 10. It's actually quite close. But so say a Grom, for example, that actually does pretty good. But you're really putting yourself at a disadvantage by playing a tier 8 or a tier 9 that's not a Night Stalker. Because, since it's tier 9, Night Stalkers will always be top tier. Now, this means that tier 9s will never have to see 10s. But at the same time, this also means that, like I said, Night Stalker is going to be top tier. And anything inferior, well, that'll just be cannon fodder. But I digress. There are some tanks that are able to compete with that overpowered piece of crap. So, I'm actually going to get a bit into that in this video because, just like many people, I have a very deep hatred for the Night Stalker. So, number one of my absolute favorite tier 9 heavy tanks, the VK40.02B. So, its upper plate is thicker than that of the Mouse's. Not by much, but it's thicker, and down a tier. So when you face hug a Night Stalker, it can't pen you. And it's so low to the ground that it doesn't have the elevation to aim down on your plate. So it's still angled even if you face hug it. Which, that is just perfect. Because you can occupy that Night Stalker while the rest of your team get around it, shoot it up. Fine. Take like 14 minutes just to kill it because its armor is ridiculous. But anyway, it's still a good option. You may be slow, you may be, well, your sides aren't exactly the greatest, but they do work. And the boss tank in the Warriors mode is very effective against your armor layout, because once it gets too much of your side, you just get battered over and over and over. But you can't bounce it off your upper plate like the Night Stalker. But, like I said, it comes with another weakness, that being the speed, that being the mobility, that being its ability to really defend itself too much. You can pen a Night Stalker with your 311 premium penetration if you have the top gun. That is crucial. To be able to effectively fight a Night Stalker in the VK45.02B, you need to have the top gun. All the other guns are alright. The stock gun is kind of crap. I mean, it's a stock gun, of course. But the top gun, it works so well against Night Stalkers. Because if you get lucky and you high roll on your penetration, you might just be able to pen between the guns. And you can pen its side flat on. Or side on, I should say. You have a little bit of height, so you shoot somewhat down on it, which makes you able to pen it. Even with standard rounds, you can go through the sides if it's flat on. But that's just the VK being the VK. However, you do need to worry about your turret front. Because as we know, with the E100, you have enough heat pen, you go straight through that turret. VK45.02B suffers the exact same fate, because it has a very similar turret. Now, it doesn't take nearly as much heat pen to go through it, but it is definitely something to watch out for. So when you're angling your hull, if you see that they're aiming at your turret front, try and angle your turret front. But also be careful of your side turret, because it's angled so that it'll work frontally. So let's say you're on Siegfried line. You're using a building, you're side scraping, or whatever. Maybe you're baiting with your upper or lower plate, which is actually ideal, because if your lower plate at a 45-degree angle is pretty hard to pen. You can even bounce some 10s off of it. Another reason why I love it so much. But anyway, if you're baiting with your upper and lower plate, they can't see your turret unless you have less angle than 45, which is possible against, say, tier 8 mediums and heavies and lights, except for derp lights like the turtle, the tank, stuff like that. But essentially what you want to do is, if you're going to angle the front of your turret, you want to hide the side so that they can't just move and shoot your side turret instead, doing damage anyway, and probably depending with their standard rounds. At least with the front of your turret, they got load premium. So essentially, you're costing them more money to do damage to you. But at the same time, premium can sometimes go through your lower plate. It depends on what's shooting at you. If you're being shot at by something like a Conway or a Yak Tiger or a bar, There's a lot of bars. Bar is another great tank for the mode, the Warriors mode, because it's got such a big gun. But speaking of the bar, that is one of the weaknesses of the VKB, because your engine deck, the bar has height as well. And if the bar can get onto a hill, shoot down into your engine deck, he will full pen you. And he will do, say, 1100 damage. Because not only can that 203mm gun overmatch your engine deck, but it can also full pen you if you use angled down. Which, for those of you who have the Sturm Tiger and have played the bar, you know that that's your ideal position. You want to be backed up. But that's the VKB in a nutshell there. Slow, but its armor works well against Night Stalkers, which is perfect. Other than that, maybe the ST1. And your side armor is pretty nice. If you have the top turret, you could probably bounce stuff off your turret. You get the IS-4's gun, which is also nice. Other than that, though, I mean, 50 TP can't really do much. It has a nice upper plate, but it's only that upper plate that's nice. I think that's gonna be it for this video. Starting to rant a bit. So, as a quick recap, Wargaming staff for modern armor fired, essentially, but leaving after the roadmap ends. And PC devs will be taking over after the roadmap. Warriors event. Copy paste garbage. Don't get to do anything. You don't get to win anything unless you buy one of the tanks, one of the commanders, unless you buy something from them for their super high prices. And then there's the fact that you'll be fighting Night Stalkers almost constantly, which nobody likes. But I think that's about it. If I missed anything, let me know down in the comments. I'd be more than happy to have some criteria. I'm trying to get better every time. Still working on getting an intro and an outro. I haven't quite gotten yet, but I'll put it in place once I get something. But replay is a bit longer than my recording here, so I'm gonna let that play out. But I'm gonna stop talking and let you enjoy the replay. This is Rook. I hope you all have some great RNG, and best of luck to all of you, as I know for sure that we'll all be needing it for the next few months. Peace out.